thing, you need safety glasses anytime you're using the table saw, so you're gonna have those on, okay? When you turn the saw on, I want you to have the board behind the red throat plate. All right, see this plate right here, it's called the throat of the saw. This is the throat plate. Make sure it's behind that. And then you're gonna reach down with your left hand and turn the saw on. I like you to get in the habit of that, because if you hold it with your left hand and reach down with your right, it's fine when you have a little piece like this, but if you have an 8 or 10 foot piece, you're gonna need to hold it back here to hold the weight of it, and then turn it on, all right? So this is what you're gonna do in just a minute. I'm gonna have each of you do this without any power on, so I can see that you guys understand exactly what I'm telling you right now. If it looks like you have the technique down correctly, I'm gonna have you reset the fence and you're gonna make one live cut, okay? Sound good? So pay attention. The board's behind the red. I pretend to turn it on. My left hip is gonna go right up against the rail here, all right? You can't really reach from back here. You have to get close to the saw. So I want you to get comfortable with the saw, and you're gonna put your hip here. One thing you're gonna notice, I'm standing to the left of the blade, okay? That's just another safety precaution. So now if there's a kickback, where does it go, Colby? It goes right by me, all right? If I'm standing back here and there's a kickback, bad news, right? Okay, so you wanna stand to the left. You don't wanna be hit. So that's another safety precaution. Your left hand is gonna be your holding hand, all right? What I like to do is have my knuckles go down on the table like this. This whole finger is gonna go against the edge of the board and hold it tight to the fence. The thumb is gonna go on top. Now it's best if you can put your hand right behind this throat plate, all the way up there. That gives you a little more leverage, okay? Because remember, this blade's going around at 5,000 times a minute. That's fast, okay? So that's gonna have a tendency to wanna lift the board up off the table. So you do have to put a little pressure on the top. If you have your hand here, you've got more leverage for that. If you're nervous and you put your hand back here, it takes away your leverage. So it'll ride up really easily. So you wanna keep your hand right there, okay? And you can just leave that hand right where it is, okay? It's almost like it's screwed to the table, and your board goes past your hand like this, okay? If you have a board that is really rough and you're worried that it's gonna give you splinters, what I suggest is you can start back here, okay? Feed it in, stop, come back, feed it in, stop, and come back like that. If it's a smooth edge, like a lot of the wood we use in here, you can just leave your hand like that and let it ride right by it, okay? So if it's a long board, you're gonna start feeding it through, you're gonna reach back, feed it through some more, until the back end reaches the table. When the back end reaches the table, that's when you can decide whether or not you wanna use a push stick. If you're this close to the blade, you have to use a push stick in here, okay? If it's over there, I suggest you use your hand, because you'll have your thumb plus 4 points of contact. You have a lot more contact than just this little push stick. But when you're this close, I want you to have your hand up and away from the blade as much as possible, okay? So at this point, like I said, your back end reaches the table. You're gonna grab your push stick, put it on the back, right in the middle, okay? Have it angled slightly towards the fence. Not a lot, because you don't wanna slide, just a little bit towards the fence so that back edge will stay tight. Once you have your push stick on there, you can start pushing. You can drop this hand out of the way. And at this point, there's really no chance for a kickback, so you can turn your body and push this board through, just like this. Okay, you wanna catch that for me? Thank you. Now, one thing that I see students do a lot is they get nervous at that point. So they do everything right, they put the push stick on. At this point, they get nervous and they actually back up. If you back up like this is gonna put you in a worse position, because now my hand has to travel over the top of the blade in order to finish this cut. If you just get a little bit of confidence and you turn your body, your hand will be to the right of the blade and you can finish the cut. Make sense? Now, lastly, when you're cutting, you're gonna get to this point right here. The board is gonna be completely cut through, and typically kids stop cutting, stop right there and they pick this up. What I want you guys to do is I want you to get it past the blade, all right, all the way to the back to there. Because I don't want you to depend on the person catching to pull it out. I want you to be the one to control that, all right? And that brings me to my final point. Anytime you're using the table saw in here, you're gonna have somebody catch for you. You're not gonna use the table saw alone. At the beginning, it's going to be me catching for you, because what I'm gonna be doing is as you're starting out is I'm gonna watch your technique and make sure that it stays consistent and you get better and better as you go, and I'll correct you as necessary, okay? But after a while, what I hope is that you guys will become more independent and you can help each other out, all right? If you're helping each other out when you're catching, when you catch, I just want you to catch the weight of the wood. I don't want you to grab it and start pulling, all right? You might think you're helping them, but actually you might be putting a little more stress on them because they're not comfortable going as quick as you're going. So just let them dictate how fast they go and you guys just catch the weight, okay? After you catch the board, I don't want you to hand the board back over the top of the blade. Either hand it back over here or put it over here. If you go like this to hand it over the top of the blade and you accidentally drop it, this is gonna kick back at them. All right, so you wanna try to avoid handing anything over the top of the blade. Any questions? That was a lot.